Oh, we back, man. Thinking Mindz podcast. A little something different, man. We came in, man. This was like an emergency thinking call. I am Max C. Don't sleep. I got
Mark Whitey Pines Wood.
Mark Whitey Pines with me. Shout out to Minto. Minto took a day off.
Man down.
Took a day off. You're getting them back with the holy water. Holywater.com. Make sure y'all dropping the link in the bio and all that type of stuff. But we want to drop in real quick. The cell phone service sucks right now, man. So on a thinking mind perspective, what you think going on?
I'm never set on anything. I try to leave my mind open for possibilities. So this is the way I broke it down when it happened. Because sometimes shit happens and we get carried away.
It does. Yeah. That's
maybe, to me, it kind of had that feel to it. But when you look in the context of everything that's been going on, and it's an election year, you know what I'm saying? And I told myself and everybody else around me, even coming into 2024, I was like, man, hey, hold what you got, because they're going to be stirring shit up and they're going to be fooling with us, right? Mm-hmm. So if it is, like, to me, if it was any kind of cyber attack, even if they were just kind of testing the waters to see what we would do, maybe they would take out the whole grid, power grid, right? Because it was nothing. It was just AT&T cell phones that was down. Everything else, power worked. But maybe they didn't want to show their whole hand. Yeah, so, like, if you're fixing to get at somebody or whatever, let's say me and you are scoping a place out. We're going to go rob this place. And we drive by. We're scoping it out. And then the guy's in the yard and he sees us. That's bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Cause
never show your hand.
So if now everybody's saying that it was China and we're suspicious of them, so they're almost at a disadvantage, right?
Unless another country did it and knew we was going to blame China.
Right. But so why is it whenever something like that happens, we always go to China with it?
Because China's one up. I think, all right, my perspective, it was like an experimental drill. People panic like this generation, not talking about this generation far as kids, this generation as in a whole of people, older and younger, we rely on cell phones. They said this in the beginning, even in the Facebook, the creators of Facebook, not Mark Zuckerberg, but the ones that quit, said Facebook was really just a social experiment, and when they seen it getting too deep, they seen like what it could do to us. So with the movie coming out, Leave the World Behind, we're traumatized. You know what I'm saying? So us being traumatized, it's almost like put the movie out, then cut the cell phones off.
And not just that movie. Like, we're talking about, it's been a lot of them coming, right? So it's almost like, it's...
And a little intel on that movie, Leave the World Behind. So you put me on game before we started this. What's up with that?
Well, y'all can look this up. Barack Obama has some kind of ties to this movie. I heard today that it was his movie. Then I just pulled up an article that said that, yes, he is connected to the movie, but it's no conspiracy to it. So all we're saying is that we're just here to put it out there. I'm saying, so y'all do with it what you will. I think that's the whole goal of this, right? We're not trying to tell you what to think. We're trying to tell you how to think, or just think in general.
Most definitely. And disclaimer, we got to get in the habit of disclaimer. We're not here to hurt nobody, talk bad about nobody, race, religion, anything like that. All this is open discussion, up in the air. We just people that's thinkers and think that everybody else should think. But, okay, so they put the movie out, Leave the World Behind. If you ain't seen it, go watch it. It'll give you a thinking perspective, because the way that it ended, it leaves you in a thinking process. Everybody like, oh, the movie was trash because the ending, I think, was supposed to be like that to leave you thinking. So, like, with it leaving it like that, and then a couple months later, cell phone service goes out on SOS mode, not just straight out. You know what I'm saying? Because I think during a complete outage, it don't go into SOS mode.
You're right. So SOS mode, I believe my limited. I'm country as hell, so I might have things all fucked up. But I believe the towers is still functional. It's just the service that's not. So SOS mode still uses the towers, right, to bounce.
Right.
And our power grid's still on, so your cell phone will still go to that tower. You just don't have no AT&T service with it. And that's why like Verizon still worked. Whatever else still worked.
Because there's a lot piggybacking off of, just say AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. I think those are the only people that got their own towers, pretty much. And so everybody else that's underneath them, Cricket, whatever else, piggybacks off of these people, and they piggyback off each other. So I don't think there's no cell phone service at war against who needs a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? But the panic, I think, is that we rely on that so much. In 2024, I would think that at least 30% of people rely on their phone for business. I would say at least 30%. 25, 30%. People run their whole business. If you have a business, you run your whole business off of your cell phone. So I could understand why people was going up to AT&T in panic, because that's my money. You know what I'm saying? My whole business, my Shopify, my online business, my bookings, everything. Even barbers now don't have walk-ins, and salons don't have walk-ins.
And you see how people act when something like that happens, right?
Right.
It's just disgusting, really. I mean, like big kids. What's crazy is that was, you saw people going to AT&T and giving them people hell, and that was just for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Imagine if the shit really went down a day, 2 days in, because people we want what we want right now.
Right now, yeah.
You know what I mean? And if they start looking for somebody to blame and take it out on, like, we're a really spoiled country, society in general, right? So that's why I always tell people, I was like, man, but there's no telling the level of, like, violence this country would get to if it really got to dog, because we even like that movie, Leave the World Behind, people was instantly angry because the end wasn't laid out for them. You actually had to think, maybe put some shit together to come to a conclusion. And so some people was like, man, the movie's trash, because it required them to do a little bit more. You know what I mean? It wasn't written out and laid out for them. So I don't know. That's my take on that.
But think about how much money is tied up on your phone. Besides just Cash App and PayPal, you got people that's in the stock market now. Nobody watches TV to watch the stocks. You know what I'm saying? Or you check your phone. Nobody goes to the newspaper and get Wall Street Journal or none of that. Like, so the stock market, think about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, which Bitcoin has already back up in the 50s again. You know, so you have heavy investors that's heavily invested in checking their phone every 5 minutes. And not only that, kids are so tuned in. So without TikTok, Facebook, think about how many, this is petty right here. Think about how many mothers was mad that the service was off because their baby was crying. Because when the baby cries now, what they do? Get a baby the phone so they can watch YouTube.
Man.
And now you have to deal with your kid. Really, it was a blessing that the phone was down, because people could have used that time to really bond with
Not for whatever kid got his ass whooped.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
But yeah.
But bonding time, things like that, there should be.
Do you think that happened during COVID? Do you think that kind of brought people together a little more?
No, I think it tuned them in more. And now, talking about that, during the pandemic, people was locked in the house on their cell phones all day, so it made you more addicted to your cell phone. You know what I'm saying? That's where all the businesses started from. At home, all the e-commerce business, drop shipping, all this investing into stocks, all this stuff emerged during the pandemic. And so for people to be relying on that now, it's like a necessity, you know. So I think right now, I think it was just an experimental check, and it could not have been by a government affiliated person.
Right.
Or company or entity. It could have just been some weirdo at the house. saying like, I'm gonna play with people today. You know what I'm saying? Because there's people capable of doing that.
Do you think that AT&T would admit it if they did get hacked and some, you know what I'm saying?
Heck no.
I don't think so either.
No. They're not gonna admit it. And the thing about it is it probably was an inside job, or it probably was somebody that, you know, was told to do this.
Who started the solar flares? Did you see that? Well, the solar flares hypothesis, because earlier that day I saw that it was solar flares that knocked this stuff out. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
Somebody said there was 2 solar flares. I don't know where it got started, how credible it was, but that was ongoing until mid-morning, or, you know, after it came back on. Then I heard that it was an upgrade or something that they done that knocked them off.
Yeah.
But tell them why you told me that you didn't think it was they said it was like an update or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think it is. And another thing too, don't blame what's it called? The Starlink.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that yet. You know what I'm saying? So that is like,
didn't Russia say last week, somebody said they started a rumor that Russia was going to hit one of our satellites or something? Did you see that?
I ain't see that. I didn't see
He's
that.
been locked in the studio.
Yeah,
so.
I've been locked in. But
Thought that was kind of weird though, that, you know, Russia was talking about doing something, and then a week later, you know, that happens.
But there's been threats against the power grid. There's 2 huge threats. Matter of fact, we're gonna take a quick break and we're gonna get right back in. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about all that.